everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of the Wrist Cheese Radio podcast, your place for horological hot takes, taboo topics, and often unpopular watch opinions. I am one of your hosts, Schmidt, and I'm joined, as always, by my good buddy. You guys know him. You love him, Mr. Brodinky. Bro, what's going on, my friend?
Episode 28. Feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Plugging along. No signs of stopping. So,
yeah, we're not ready to get canceled just yet. We still got to get to at least 30, right? We got to end on a nice kind of
I like
full-fledged round numbers.
Yeah. Aside from that, just finished another night of work. Everything's pretty good. Looking forward to the weather warming up a little bit, and I think that's going to tie a smidge into our topic tonight.
Okay. What is the weather right now?
Here in New York, it's still a bit breezy. It's like mid 50s. We've had a few nice days, but I don't think we've broken 70 maybe, or 7. Yeah, I don't think we've broken 70 yet. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's still fairly chilly over there.
Yes.
For someone like me that lives in a warmer climate, that's pretty chilly.
For someone like me who works in a warm climate, it is chilly.
I can imagine the kitchen gets pretty hot sometimes.
Honestly, it feels good, man. When you walk out the door at the end of the night, you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. You're not standing in front of a 500-degree oven, 600-degree oven.
You can unstick yourself from yourself. It's quite liberating.
As I can only imagine. See, I knew there was something else to you staying thin. It's you just literally sweat out all
That's
the
what
bad
it is.
stuff you eat.
There's no water in my body at any time.
All right, so what's the big topic? We're kind of touching on this a little bit. You said, weather kind of related to what we're talking about today. So what's the big topic for the boys and girls at home?
Well, I like to keep the jump on everyone, sort of, and before the weather turns and everybody's got their summer watch episode in, I want to get mine in, so
okay,
I can lay claim to it. So
there we go.
Today we are talking summer watches.
I like it. I'm here for it. So summer watches 2022.
Correct.
Fantastic, man. So to kind of get into this, do you kind of want to lay some ground rules, or like what kind of is your justification for a summer watch? Or
yeah, I think for starters, given that we're kind of laying it out as 2022 summer watches, I'm gonna kind of stray away from older stuff. I'm going to stick mostly to somewhat recent releases or coming releases for this upcoming season.
Sure.
Obviously, there are always plenty of vintage examples, I think, that are perfect for this. And, like, how could you go wrong with, like, any orange Seiko diver, right? Like, for a summer watch. Right. So, I'm going to stay away from that. I'm going to stick with the newer stuff. I think sort of the limited format kind of makes it a little more interesting, kind of forces you to make some creative decisions. So I'm going to go with that. The other part of this is that I was thinking about it, and I don't know if I've ever heard the exact guidelines for a summer watch. Kind of like how people have guidelines for like a skin diver as opposed to a diver.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of these summer watch guidelines. And like I have my own set that I kind of consider in my head, but I feel like everybody just has their own also.
And I think that's the idea. Is just like there is no generalized consensus. Like it's different when it's like this is a dive watch, right? It has to be a 200-meter water resistant. It has an ISO certification. Like there's actually like a standardization for the specifications here, right?
Yeah.
A summer watch can be anything. I mean, there's people that would maybe classify a Nomos as a summer watch. I mean, it's just there's such a wide range, and that's I think a kind of a good jumping in point. So, bro, why don't you tell the folks at home what is your summer watch? What is your definition?
Are you assuming my season?
I am, yes, very much so. We're going hard on this.
Well, here's where it gets kind of tricky for me, because I think immediately people are drawn to brighter, more vibrant colors for a summer watch.
Agreed.
But then I have plenty of watches that I think are pretty summery that are in the black to gray scale or white. Okay. So I think part of it is versatility. Part of it is the ability to be active and make those transitions. I know the stupid cliche term. I always forget it. It's like something stupid like surfboard to boardroom or whatever the hell it is, or
yeah, beach to boardroom. Yeah,
like that. But that kind of applies to the summer watch. I feel like
absolutely.
Because it is one of those seasons where you get out of work, you still got plenty of daylight. You're like, let me go. I was gonna say something worse, but mess some things up, right? Cause some trouble.
Yeah.
So that plays into it for me. And I again, sometimes I just stare at a watch and I'm like, summer watch. And then other times I'm like, what makes this a summer watch?
Yeah.
What about for you? What do you think?
I mean, I think we're gonna have very similar kind of like guidelines here. For me, I'm a big proponent of bright, colorful dials. I just, for me, summer watches, it should be a celebration of a fun and exciting time, especially for where I live. The summer is filled with hunting trips and being on the lake and going to the beach and doing all these fun activities outdoors around water, kind of really diving in, if you will, pun intended, into a kind of adventurous lifestyle, right? And really celebrating that. And so for me, I need a watch in my summer collection, if you will, that can certainly hold pace with what I'm going to throw at it. Whether that's crushing cans with the boys or doing something fun with my kid, and my wife, or just having a great time outside doing a barbecue. I mean, I want to watch that can do anything and look stylish and cool in any type of situation. So that's kind of my first thing. My second thing is really versatility with regards to like how you wear the watch. So for me, a lot of my summer watches come on rubber straps, but there's also some options that they can change out for leather or for a bracelet. So for me, having that versatility and the flexibility to wear the watch in any situation is really important. And lastly, summer watches got to, for me at least, have a screw down crown. That's just kind of a thing for me.
Very interesting. I guess that kind of lends to the versatility aspect, and that you could just say to hell with it, I'm jumping in the pool.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of shenanigans that happens in the summer, right? Crushing cans with the boys, like I mentioned. I mean, sometimes people get a little rowdy and they want to push you in the pool. Your watch better be ready. That Nomos Club just might not survive that dunk,
Yeah, kid running the sprinkler.
All kinds.
You got to go grab them.
All kinds of stuff, man. Water balloon fights, super soaker fights, like whatever you're gonna do outside, do it. Have a good time. Wear your watch.
Yeah. Let's not forget hot tubs. I mean,
although hot tubs are really not designed well for watches.
I heard. Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah, it really kind of messes up with the case integrity of the seals and everything like that. It's not a good situation.
Damn. Noted.
Yeah, because I mean the water's hot. I mean some of the temperatures on those things are like 120, 125 degrees, and you put a watch that is 50 meters in there, like it's just going to shrivel that gasket, or it's going to cause the case to expand or contract, because it's going from cold to hot very fast.
Yeah, no, that's
and that's how you get moisture leakage. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They said even something as simple as like putting your watch like close to a shower head, just because the pressure can actually force the water past the gaskets.
Wow.
Yeah, just crazy stuff.
I always thought showering with your watch is a bad move. Now I'm happy I never did.
I always shower with my watch, to be honest. I am so bad about it. I actually, I will say this. I'm one of those weirdos that literally never takes my watch off. I will sleep in my watch every day.
I have done it. I don't do it on purpose. For me, taking off the watch is sort of the end of my day. It's like closing the book.
Yeah. No, and I get it. There's no shade against anybody that does that, because I know like I am certainly in the minority here. Because you're like, you don't like, I don't take my wedding band off either, like ever. Like I don't take it off to shower. I don't take it off to go in the pool or work out. Like I always have my wedding band, my ring, and my watch on me at all times. Like period. And if it's not a nice watch, it's something else that is still a watch, like a G-Shock or a Swatch or something.
And with that, I guess we can jump into summer watches here. I know I've got some picks. I tried to keep it a little off the wall. right? Like
I'm going to say this. I really struggled to find really kind of off the wall picks, just because for me, it's like I have stuff that really needs to fit my criteria. And if it doesn't, then it's just like, I'm not going to choose it. So let's start with you then, since you got the more obscure collection. What do you got?
Okay. So one watch that I guess is not that easy to get these days, despite not being a tremendous brand. But they do fun colors. They give you a chronograph, which is interesting. Studio Underdog.
Ah, okay.
Right? They've got the watermelon. They've got the eggplant, which I thought was sick. But they give you plenty of different colors you could choose from. You get the chronograph function. I believe it's a Seagull movement in there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a Chinese
ST19.
Yeah. I don't know exactly which one it is, but I know it's for sure Seagull or some type of Chinese chrono.
I think it's a 1901, if I'm not mistaken.
It still looks really nice though through the exhibition case back, because I have a collector friend here locally that has one.
It's a Venus clone. That movement.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about it because
I know it has a column wheel though.
I was going to say it's column wheel for given the price. But anyway, these come in, I believe, somewhere around 500 pounds. So convert that, whatever. But not crazy price, fun colors. Like I said, you get a complication. It's column wheel chrono, so that's cool.
Yeah. And it's nicely finished. I mean, like, it looks really, really nice.
Yeah, and they're just fun watches, right? And I think that's part of the summer idea too, is that you're out to have fun. You want somewhat of an eye catcher, and I think it checks all of those boxes.
Yeah, and I think somebody, because I think they just did a drop, like either yesterday or the day before at the point of recording this one. I'm pretty sure they just like reopen their ordering and then they close it again.
Might have been for the eggplant.
Right. Well, that one's basically that one's vaporware. Like,
you're not getting that for obvious reasons.
I mean, but that watch was pretty sick, and the fact what was funny absolutely. But what's funny about that watch is it was kind of a troll joke at first.
Oh yeah,
and then they decided to do it, and I was like, that to me is just awesome, that you have a company that doesn't take itself so seriously. That is certainly something that I can get behind and I can jive with, because watch collecting should always be fun. And if it's not fun, then maybe you need to reevaluate why you're collecting watches.
Agreed on that.
But this is a good one, man. Have you seen one of these in person?
I have not.
They're fun. They already look cool online. They're even better in person. Like, even better. It's just a very simple watch. I love the proportions. I love the fact that it's manual wind. It's a very, slender profile, given it's a chrono. And it's just, I mean, they're 500 euros. So again, you do the conversion. It's not a bad price point, but just a really solid looking watch. I can't go wrong with this.
All right. Why don't you lay one on me here?
All right. So this is one that I keep kind of going back and forth on myself, because I actually still want it. So maybe I'll have to take a trip to Watches of Switzerland and pull the trigger. But I definitely do think I want to get a sub 600T from Doxa, the new one. I keep looking at it. And I love it. It's specifically the aquamarine color.
Yeah.
Because that color to me is just, it's loud. It's summer all the way. It's got everything that I want it to have. And I think that case design is quirky. And as a Doxa owner of two other cases in style, this would be kind of a nice compliment to what I already have. But and the price was not bad. It's $1,500. So it's a lot less expensive than that new Doxa military that came out today that I'm cringing at, that I didn't have the opportunity to buy. Because that watch is purely epic. But it's full surround.
Which, if I can call time out here, may or may not have been mentioned in a predictions episode a few months ago.
And apparently they brought the heat because they had like the Swiss government like sign off saying that they had actually issued this.
Wow.
And that Doxa should be basically like the rightful creators of this piece. So sorry, Synchron. You're probably going to take a back seat on this one. And then not only as if that was already cool enough, they also one-upped it because they didn't PVD the case. They just released a full black ceramic case.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's first crazy. One that Doxa has ever created. And I think that that's fantastic, especially at the $4,500 price point. I mean, it's not an inexpensive Doxa by any stretch. I mean, you're floating right into basically, black-based ceramic territory with that price point. But very cool case design. Very cool to see a Doxa do it in ceramic. And I think that's honestly the best watch to debut a black Doxa in. But anyway, I digress, man. The Aquamarine Doxa 600T for me, I think just keeps pulling at my heartstrings, man, and I want it bad. So watch the Switzerland. I might be hitting you up.
And that's funny because I also had Doxa on my list.
No, you did not.
I did because I think though, I mean, given the professional is obvious. I think the diving star is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the new white pearls are
I was this close to putting white pearl. Yes. And I know you took a liking to that one too, especially with the media campaign and whenever when Doxa was like, yeah, everyone's doing colors, we're going white.
Yeah, check
this out. Dang, that's a move.
And you could pick your flavor, like you said. You can go from 600T, 300T. You get all different price points. You get up to carbon, right? Which is honestly pretty sick.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Right? The carbon that's a full lume dial.
It is a full lume dial, and that's even more special. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah.
So, you can pick your flavor. You can go pretty accessible with the 600, or you can go all the way up to the carbon and
I mean, even the sub 200 in the white pearl. That was the first one to debut.
I was going to say they've had that for a little bit. I think.
Yeah, and that one, I mean, that model's like under $1,000. I think it's like $995 or $950 retail. I mean, it's nothing. That's a great watch from a very historic dive watch brand.
From Diving Heritage.
Yeah, I mean, and I have a sub 200. I have the navy dial. I love the watch. I get so many compliments on it, and it is a strap monster. Even though it's a 19 mil, it still fits everything. So I rock it. It's cool.
But I think they give you that all the versatility in the world. You can go beads of rice or whatever bracelet might come on. You can go rubber strap. I mean, hell, I've even seen it on NATOs and Tropics. It still looks good either way. There's no missing with those. I think the cases are just so well proportioned and designed that
absolutely.
I the more I think about it, like if you were a diving head and wanted a one watch collection, I think Doxa might just be your one stop shop.
Totally agree with that. So that's it. So that's your second one, the Doxa?
Yeah. I had it in my list. I decided to pivot into Doxa because you already had it on the table. I had them in price order a little bit, but since we were already there, I decided to make the pit stop.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna pull out a watch, and I know you mentioned kind of earlier that you want to stay more current, and I totally agree with you. All the rest of my picks after this one are current, but this is a watch that came back out in 2017, so it's not too terribly old, but still kind of old. But this is a very special Omega that many people probably never saw or weren't really sure about. And this watch was part of the Planet Ocean family, but it was the Michael Phelps edition. I don't know if you've ever seen this watch. It was a white dial Seamaster Planet Ocean chrono with like orange and blue accents. Okay. We'll have to put a picture of this in the posting when this goes live. Just because this watch is insane. It's such a good looking watch. The way the colors like interact with one another. I sincerely wish at some point Omega will make this color scheme in a standard 3-hander Planet Ocean, because it just is so good. It's amazing. And it was a limited edition, and it was sold only online through Omega's e-commerce platform, which is, I think, officially when they launched it, was back at that time. And the watch is a home run, dude. It's just like, it's a very vibrant blue. It's very vibrant orange, piggybacked off of that crisp white. Very cool. And it was a true limited edition. It did 280 pieces total.
Oh, okay.
So it's a rare watch as well. But certainly one that most people probably haven't seen. And it's a banger. I love it.
Yeah, this would go very well in my collection. It fits like half of my sports teams. So
have you ever seen this watch before?
Obviously not in person. I've seen pictures of it, but
okay, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever paid that much attention to it, to be honest.
It's just one of those watches that like people just don't know. And like you see it and you're like, oh, it's an Omega and it's Planet Ocean. You're like, okay. And you kind of dismiss it.
Yeah.
And then when you realize, you're like, wait, that's not a normal Omega. That's not a normal Planet Ocean. It's really cool. I love this watch to death. And I have a buddy of mine locally where I live that has it. And every time I see him wearing it, oh my gosh, like it was insane. And he told me the story, like how he got it because he didn't buy it online through the Omega website. Like he was able to somehow broker his local boutique to like pull it and like sell it to him in the store because he wanted his salesperson to get credit for it.
Wow.
Which I thought was kind of gangster. Like that's a pretty awesome move. So yeah.
I like the orange 12.
I know, man.
That's a nice touch.
It's just so good. There's nothing when I look at this watch, it's like this watch could totally be made today and it would be every bit as amazing of a watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it looks outdated.
Mm-mm. I mean, again, it's technically still current generation Planet Ocean. It just is a color scheme that only existed for, I don't know, 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, less than that. The Florida Gators would dig this watch.
Oh my! Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Are you serious?
If Tim Tebow doesn't own this, I don't know what he's doing.
But actually, Tim Tebow owns an Omega Planet Ocean chronograph.
Oh, no way! That's
yeah, he does. He does. He wears a titanium Planet Ocean chronograph from the previous generation. I only know this because I was walking through like some random like tchotchke store, and his like book was like on like one of these like aisles, these end caps, and he's like, he had his hands like praying right on the book cover, and you can see the watch. And I was like, oh, I stopped my wife and I was like, look, and she's like, what is that? And I was like, this is Tim Tebow. She's like, who is that? So I'm like,
wow, really?
All right, we're just gonna keep moving. Keep it moving.
That's funny.
But he does have an Omega, and it is Florida Gators colors.
I can't say I'm surprised.
I'm not. I've always secretly wanted him to wear one, and I was like, oh, sweet validation.
All right, piggybacking off the orange theme a little bit here, I'm going to go with one that is super fresh at the current moment.
Super fresh.
So these got leaked last week. Our friend, no, not yet. Okay. our friend, the Seiko 5 Sports, the lonely lost puppy, I think has finally found his way. They turned him into a GMT. You didn't see this?
Did I miss this?
Yeah, I think you did. So they made the 5KX into a GMT. It leaked last week. I don't know if it's a jumping hour GMT. I know their Presage is, but that's a 6R movement, and this is a 4R movement. So I'm thinking it might not be, but I can't say for sure. But these babies come in a variety of colors, as you expect. Unfortunately, I did not see a black and green. I thought that would have been an epic troll on Seiko's part.
This way, it'll come out in 3 months.
But they do have an orange.
Yeah, and that's kind of the old gilted orange one that they used to make.
And they even come on a Jubilee, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it's got sort of that SKX 011 color scheme. It's like orange dial with the black and gold bezel.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I remember that. I was always teetering on Amazon late night purchases. I'm like, should I get this one? It's kind of cool. I'm like, it feels a little old with the gold. But it's certainly a cool color scheme. It works here with the GMT for sure.
And I think they finally have found this watch is calling.
I could see that.
Where
especially
I could
because you lost the diving water resistance. It's like, right. What is it?
I could get by now with the lesser water resistance without the screw down crown. I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You still have some versatility there, but you don't need it to be a diving watch because it's not a diving watch. So
right, exactly. And plus, how many people are modding their Seikos with GMT bezels anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, James Stacy really kind of like helped bring that to forefront. I mean, I know that there was other people doing it before him, but ever since he had his SKX with that GMT bezel, like everyone just started putting GMT bezels on their SKXs. I'm like, guys, like it's not a real GMT. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to do mental math to try to figure out where my bezel is aligned to calculate the right time zone.
And if I remember correctly, these babies are coming in under 600. It might even be under 500.
Let me see if I can find a price.
That was directly from someone I was talking to who was talking to a Seiko rep.
Okay.
So plenty affordable. And I mean, if they did somehow manage to make this a jumping hour, that would be pretty darn good. That would be a pretty darn good value, to be honest.
Yeah. Especially for those people looking to get into a GMT let's be honest, there's not a lot of like legitimate GMTs from notable brands that are under that price point.
No,
like,
not
at all. So not anybody that I can think of. So, I mean, this is a solid home run. I must have missed these because I just legitimately didn't see them.
Yeah.
So they're reference SSK 001, 003, and 005. Automatic. Oh, somebody's calling it already. Automatic true GMT for R34 movement. So this is from Watch Chris. He uploaded this 6 days ago. So according to his video on YouTube, which I don't watch him, so I don't know who he is. But according to this video on YouTube, he says it is a true GMT.
Wow, that's tremendous work.
That is a game changer. That's a pretty awesome summer watch because it's like an adventure watch. You know what I mean? Like it's.
And I mean, you do traveling in the summer, right?
Absolutely. So, go anywhere, do anything.
Yep.
And when you travel to these crazy locations where your watch might get stolen off your wrist, hey,
no you know
what? Take my $600 Seiko, please. I'll get a new one on Amazon. It's already ordered in the cart. That's awesome. That's a very cool watch.
Yeah, that one. Immediately when I thought summer watch, I was like, "Bing!" That's it.
That's cool. All right, so my next pick is something that we kind of touched on. I think it was last episode that we had kind of both been dancing around wanting, and we just haven't, really pulled the trigger yet. And then one of the representatives from this respective company started following us on social, so that was kind of cool. But anyway, for me, I've always wanted to have one in my collection. I think I've mentioned this before, but it's a Zodiac Seawolf, and specifically the new one, the updated Seawolf 53. Jay from Watch Cringe has this watch, and every time he posts it, I keep seeing it. I love it. I want it. It's also very cool because the lume is completely orange on this watch, which is not something that you see commonly.
Yeah.
And it's a 39 millimeter at 20 mil lugs. So, I mean, this is a strap monster. It looks good on a rubber isoframe, Tropic, whatever you want to put it on. You can do that. And there's a Jubilee style bracelet that you can put on it. It's just a very good looking watch. And I like the newer version because it's kind of modern sporty, but it's still, very much of that 1950s design. So I don't know.
The
price point's really good.
Our bro Matt from Spirit of Time actually just had one in for review as well. They talked about it on this week's episode. He basically gave a rundown of the whole thing. He likened it not one for one, but he said it punches in the same ballpark as the Black Bay 58. He said it's that good.
Whoa.
That's high praise.
That's a pretty bold claim. Especially because there's always been one complaint that I've had with these watches, that has been echoed across other mediums is just the lume is not very bright. It's very quickly fading. So I don't know if that's just due to the color of the lume that they're using, or there's just not a significant deposition of lume. But yeah, I mean the specs are it's 39 mil, it's 11 millimeters thick, automatic, 20 mil lugs, 200 meters water resistant. I mean, it's a really good looking watch, and it's not that I really need another black dial watch in my collection, but I could find some room for this guy.
And something tells me that might not be your only dial variant for the near future.
Yeah, I hope not. I know that they're constantly always coming out with new stuff, but Zodiac is interesting because they release things in like small batches.
Yes.
You know, like they'll do like a small batch drop and then like they sell it and then it's out for a while, then they do another one. It's very interesting. They even liken this like on their website to like whiskey, you know, like a small batch drop of whiskey, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I would do some pretty bad stuff if they re-released that Gulf colored GMT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just all their colorways get me. There was the was it the lime sherbet lime sherbet diver from a while ago. There was the GMT version. There was the one they called the watermelon, and then there was my personal favorite that they did for a blog to watch. It was one that was called the Aquamarine Dream. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I did. That one is actually sick.
God, that one is,
that is just
like every time
aqua.
I look at it, I just like it gives me just like Mexico Cozumel diving vibes, like that turquoise blue water that you see in the tropics. Just that's exactly, I mean, and I've seen it firsthand. That's exactly what the watch looks like. That's exactly what the water looks like in that area. And I want one so bad. I mean, they've been long since sold out. So I don't think I'll ever get one, but it's just such a cool colorway, man.
Yeah, for me, that's a brand. Colorway. That's a brand I've literally just been waiting for the exact right flavor to come out and then just pounce.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's close. It's not there right this second, but it's on the cusp.
Yeah, man. I hear a lot of good things. And they do a lot of cool stuff. So maybe one day I'll add a Zodiac to the collection.
Yeah, and that's a heritage brand too. That's not some Johnny come lately.
No, exactly. They have substance. They have some heritage. So
they were out there trying to go head to head. Rolex and Blancpain back in the day,
doing their thing, baby.
All right, my next pick you almost spoiled before, so I'm going to get that one out while I still can.
Uh-oh.
Something off of the beaten path. I think a lot of people probably would scroll right past when they saw it. You mentioned it before. Bell and Ross put out what they call pilot's watches. They don't read overly piloty to me personally.
They're divers.
They're divers. They look like divers to me. But they put out two variations. Both of them honestly pretty slick and very summery.
Yes. You know which one I like. For sure. The
full lume?
Yeah.
Okay. So they have an orange. It's the BR V292. It's orange dial or full lume, which is almost like a pistachio color.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty damn sick. And then obviously the lights go out and it's all loomed up. But
yes.
For a brand that, I don't know if they even catch a lot of flack. I feel like people just don't consider them much for whatever reason. But they do probably one of my favorite date executions where you get a circular date, which I think kind of makes up for people's gripe with the 430 date.
Yeah, 100%.
In addition to these two, they also put out another watch that is what I consider pretty summery, but I don't know if I could own it because looking at it kind of makes me dizzy. It's the BR0394 multimeter.
Oh, yeah. The exercise watch.
Yeah, so this apparently you can use this for any kind of physical activity. I don't know how the hell you read this thing. All I know is
it's like a Navitimer on steroids.
Yeah, it really is. And it's all colored. It's like Rasta colored, and it's like I said, I get a little dizzy reading it, but I don't know if you noticed, it has a 12/30 date.
12/30. Oh, it does.
It has a 12/30 date, please.
I didn't even realize that was there.
I had to I stared at it for like 15 minutes. I was like, oh my God, what's that? Like after I got done looking at everything else.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't know it was an LE. It's a limited edition.
Yeah, it is a limited edition.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it kind of gives me the vibes of those old Walkman chronos that are I think they're regattas, but that whole entire genre of like those colorful regatta timers, it kind of reminds me of that. But apparently this is made for all kinds of physical activities, even though I don't know if I'd choose a Bell & Ross for such, but
yeah. And Bell & Ross is such an interesting brand because I remember back in the day when I was still selling watches, like they were so hot. Like you couldn't keep any of those in stock.
Well, it was probably around when Panerai was the same thing.
Exactly. I mean, they were just like, they had the military connection. They had the whole, flight instrument thing, the squared case, the big giant screws on the top. Like it was a whole vibe. And everyone wanted them, man. They were so good. And I think people just finally they just kind of Panerai themselves where you can only make so many of the same watch.
Yeah, they have a very similar design language across all their models.
Yeah. And to their credit, it is cohesive. I mean, that's the one thing that I have to give Bell & Ross a lot of credit for. Their design language is 100% truly their own. Like it is their own style. It's their own look. They've co-opted it for different things. I love their diver that they came out with several years ago now. I mean, it's a square case diver. It's totally
I like it because it's square case and it has a round bezel and dial.
But I mean, when I look at it, I'm like,
it's novel.
My point is, when I see it, I'm like, yeah, that's a Bell & Ross. Like it's unmistakably Bell & Ross.
It's certainly
in the best
not
way.
A Submariner clone.
No. and you can't tell me, you cannot argue with me that this watch looks like anything else besides what it is, because it doesn't. And like I said, they have their design language and they're sticking to it. And I cannot fault them for that. I like it. I like that about them.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I'll get a Bell & Ross one day. There's so many watches that I want. Who knows? I know you're right there with me, bro. It's funny.
Oh,
it's fine.
Honestly, making these episodes is honestly bad for me because I go and look at these.
I didn't know this, but the full lume dial, I guess, and the orange one are both limited editions.
They are right? They are LEs. Yeah.
Okay. So deliveries 500 pieces total, and I love the fact there's a photo on the website of like it fully loomed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool because the actual dial loom itself is like a turquoise, and then the hands are green. So even though it's fully loomed, most fully loomed dials will do like the black hands and black numbers.
Yes.
This one actually has two colors of loom, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
It's sick. And there's a chrono version too, which I didn't know.
And the good news is they are limited, but I don't know if you have to fight that many people to get them.
Yeah, I don't know. 500 pieces seems like a lot. But who knows? Maybe there's a lot of Bell & Ross collectors I don't know about. All right, so I'm going to go with my kind of last official pick. And this is a brand that I think we've touched on before. That's been on kind of on my radar, certainly on my social media, like all the time. But I just haven't found anybody that owns one of these pieces or, has gave them a metaphorical shot, if you will. But I keep seeing them covered on major watch platforms and blogs and things like that. So I was recently looking through Watchville, doing some research and stuff like that, certainly for this podcast as well. And I came across Vaer, which we've talked about before.
Yep.
But they just released a new model that was covered by our friends at Fratello, and it's 36 millimeters. It's called the Atlas, and I don't know if this came across your feed, but there's two distinctive colorways. One is almost like a traffic cone orange, which I already think is like amazing. But the other is like a kind of like a navy dial, but they're 36 millimeters. They're automatic. They have a little bit of Datejust-esque vibes to them, but it looks like a sport watch to me. And 100-meter water resistance, screw down crown, 20 millimeter lugs. They got a Miyota movement inside, so it's certainly a workhorse movement. They are assembled here in the United States. Take it or leave that if that's important for you or not. But it's just a very cool watch. Like when I look at it, I get certainly Datejust vibes. I get Oyster Perpetual vibes.
Yeah, I get that red coral vibe.
Yeah. But the thing is though with this one is it looks more orange than it looks more red to me.
Yeah.
And I also kind of if you're familiar with Traska, like some of their watches, like it's kind of like those all had like a baby.
I do get that.
But at $629
and on a Jubilee,
and I mean on multiples, you could do a regular Oyster bracelet, you could do a Jubilee. It already comes standard with an FKM rubber. You can do a leather or you can do a NATO. Like you have all the options at $629. I'm like, I can't. Okay, please.
I can't look at FKM rubber without thinking the game. Marry, kill.
Oh, I gotcha.
I probably just screwed everybody else up out there too now.
Yeah, so you probably did.
Enjoy that, but I can't look at FKM rubber without seeing that.
That's funny. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I spoke incorrectly. If it's on a bracelet, $629. If you go with the NATO strap, it's $549. The Horween leather is $629. And then the bracelet options for Jubilee is $649, and then Oyster is $629. So it looks like the Jubilee is the most expensive, but still, we're well under $700 for a very cool looking watch from a cool brand. I mean, yeah, I know that they're up and coming, and I mean, and again, if you want kind of that OP, explorer vibe, this is it. And it's in your sweet spot, 36 mil.
Yeah, and they do make another one that has very much 1016 DNA.
Yes, they have. They have a lot of options. This one just came onto my radar because I believe this is their newest watch. But they have certainly many other options that are more kind of military inspired, more field watch inspired. They have diving watches. They have a lot of stuff. It's just, now they're kind of expanding their portfolio a little bit.
Yeah, damn. Now I can't wait for Wind Up NYC because I know they're always there.
Yeah.
Get my hands on this bad boy.
I've heard, through the rumblings, I've heard a lot of good things about Vaer. I haven't seen them in person. I haven't held one. I don't know anybody that personally owns one yet. Otherwise, I would make suitable comments on this. But from what I can tell, from those that have reviewed them, they seem to speak very favorably of them. So cool.
That's an ultra sneaky pick.
I like it.
Extremely sneaky. When you said we had touched on them before, I was sure you were going to go Aquastar because they just dropped those 38 mil.
Oh yeah,
versions.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been real sneaky, but
which quite summerific there. But again, they don't have bright colors, but I consider that pretty summery. They have just
for sure.
I mean, I guess because they're diving watches and tropic straps and all that stuff.
They're just so hard to get.
Yeah, I think they're all up for pre-order right now. I think.
I mean, according to their website, it says all sold out. So I don't know what that means, or if it's not.
All right, I will give you my last pick, and then a couple quick honorable mentions, and we can close this bad boy out. I was 100% sure you were going to take one of these already. I'm glad you didn't, because my idea for summer watch, and very much in the vein of this Vare, to be honest, would be the new Aquaterra in various colors. Notably, the terracotta or the green. Or I know people like the yellow. It's not really for me. I really love the I love the green.
It's so good. It's so good. I love
the terracotta.
The terracotta, having seen it in person, is fantastic. It's amazing.
But the sunray finish in that package, and I think it's all the same ideas you just said about this watch, just in a much more Omega design language, and you're getting a superior product to pretty much anything in that price range, and to be frankly above.
Yeah.
There's not much else. There's not much else I could say about it. I mean, how many watches are you getting that kind of package, that kind of nice proportion, that kind of finish with a master chronometer movement? I can go on, and I think we beat this horse to death a lot on this show. But I know people see the $6,000 price tag and they're like, "Well, why would I drop $6,000 on this?" I mean, for all of the reasons I just listed
and more.
Yeah, I think you're getting your money's worth. I know it doesn't seem like it's a time only watch, okay, but
I mean, again, it's a time only watch, but it still has a date.
You're getting, and even then, you're getting water resistance, you're getting anti-magnetism, you're getting master chronometer,
you're getting just a cool looking dial. I mean, that is for me.
I mean, first and foremost, like I do still say that to people a lot. I do still say the number one thing, it's like the stupid cliche: you eat with your eyes, and if the food looks good, it tastes good. Well, if the watch looks good, you're gonna like it more one way or another. Despite what's inside, you are gonna enjoy it more if it looks great, and that's just facts of life, right? So
absolutely.
I think they're all can't miss. I am yet to see one in person. I'm really looking forward to trying one on.
I think you're gonna love them, especially. I think I will too. especially in the 38 millimeter size. I think you're really gonna like them. The bracelet is amazing from what I hear. It's a completely redesigned bracelet. The integration is so different. There's everything about these new Aquaterras is amazing. So,
and I think like for me, I think that would fit tremendously in my own collection, just because like I could put that side by side with the Grand Seiko, have two very different, very over the top, crazy engineered pieces, but both like awesome in their own right. And I think that would be dope.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that's bad news for me and my wallet.
Hey, but it's gonna be good news for you and your wrist.
Yeah, for my wrist game.
For your wrist game. That's important. Risk game on Flex. But no, so I thought about picking one of those watches. I purposefully did not, just because I don't know. I know we had talked about them, not too long ago, and I wanted to kind of pick something a little bit different. So, although to me that is the ultimate summer watch. Period.
I mean, like I said, you get one of those bright colors, hard to beat. Right, you're not worried about getting pushed in the pool. You could you could wear that with a suit,
and you would be stunning.
Right,
you would be looking so good.
Even if you got like the terracotta, right? Just match your tie to the terracotta, and you'll be stunning.
It is that entire collection is such a showstopper. Period. They look amazing. So, certainly very, very cool pieces.
Other than that, I had a couple that I breezed over that I didn't necessarily include in my list here, but just to rip them off. Obviously, I've talked about this one before. I own it. Any of these Autodromos, I think, fit the bill, especially the brighter ones. Like, the Corsica, honestly, is like with the alternate Miami jersey colors are just insane with the blue and the pink. But even the black ones they have like all neon accents. They have the neon green or the neon orange. There's Safari. There's this one, which is a little bit like vintage Gatorade remix colors. But
yeah.
But they're very summery to me, and I think they just their bracelet design makes them like elite for wearing out in the sun.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Aside from that, the Seiko Solars, these bad boys, the SNEs.
Oh yeah, the new ones.
Yeah, I feel like they're a great summer watch for people who don't want to worry about their watch. I mean, it's quartz. You're never gonna have to reset it. You can bang it around. You can wear it in the pool.
And it's what, 38 millimeters, 39 millimeters?
I believe it's.
I think it's 38.
Yeah, I want to say it's 38. And you can get it in any. I think they have a like a lighter blue and a green now, but you could just get it in black, and it's as versatile as it could possibly be. Goes on every single strap. And
what's the reference again?
SNE. I want to say it's like 057 or 055, 053, I think.
Not 057. That's a different one. There you go. Okay. Yeah, 38 millimeters. And I love the new kind of flat vent style straps that come on. It's kind of like it looks like it's more like a silicone strap, but it's kind of in that like old school flat vent style.
Yes.
I like it a lot. Yeah, 38 millimeters, 28 millimeter, 20 millimeters lug width, not 28. Sorry, guys. 20 millimeters. 28 would be massive.
Yes.
Like, do you want a pull prof with that strap? And you have the Patty version, right?
I do, because it's got
that one's cool.
That little aqua accent on it.
Yeah, and I like the new Patties are not like the red, white, and blue colors. They're more chill, tropical colors than that. Yeah, that's cool.
Hold on, what is the reference number of this? I swore it was that, and it's not.
It's the SNE 575.
That's what it is. 57. I knew I had the numbers right, just wrong order.
Yeah, 575. Looking at our friend Mark from Long Island watch.
My fellow Long Islander.
Yeah, he's got these in stock right now. And then there's so it's 575 and then 585 for the blue. And then the green is, let's see here. The green version is 583.
There you go.
But good looking watches. When these first started popping up on Amazon, I was like, that's kind of a nice pick. Especially for like a set it and forget it,
It was sort of I don't know how this is going to look when it shows up. Like, I don't know if the renders are really going to be so great and this is going to be very lackluster, but I saw people got them and they really weren't. And I was like, all right, for that price.
Yeah. I mean, a few $100s. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what the actual price is of them. Is it pretty close to the retail price, or?
I'm gonna be honest. I bought mine used, $300.
Okay, so a couple $100, and you're good to go. So you bought $175 off.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. A knock-around watch like this, I don't see it, especially one that's released recently, so it can't even be that old. I used all the way for me.
Yeah, I think these started. I think the original version started hitting the market at the end of last year, like quarter 3, quarter 4 is when I started seeing these pop up. But yeah, good looking watches, man, for sure.
Yeah, and then I guess last but not least, I think obviously everybody has seen enough of the Moonswatch at nauseum by now. But I think the sleeper of that group for a summer watch would be the Jupiter.
Ooh,
which is the tan with the orange accent, kind of
looking kind of like the Ultraman,
kind of Mojave, kind of Ultraman.
Yeah,
I think that would be a sleeper for a summer watch if you didn't want something bright blue, red, etc.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with just that little pop of orange.
Yeah,
I was so jealous listening to our boys at Wrist Check Pod, and they all got the mood swatches, and I'm just over here sitting in my sadness, waiting, hoping, praying I can get one. Your memes about this, bro, in the last couple of weeks has really started to trigger people, including myself. Especially the one of like the old tired guy sitting at the computer saying that they were going to be available online.
Dude, somebody in the comments is like, wait, he's like, who said they were going to be available online? I was like, dude, don't start going down this rabbit hole. I promise it was said. I was like, I promise this was said.
No, people need to know that they're going to be sold online. They're listed on the website. Oh gosh, the misinformation.
That's probably the hardest part about having a meme account is at least the first 15 minutes to one day. You have to there's like a defense zone where you're just gonna have to field idiots.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean most of the comments are pretty funny, but then you either get people who are like way factually off, or they just leave super cryptic comments, and you're like, all right, you're probably trying to take a swipe at me, but like I don't know what you're talking about, and neither does anybody else. So yeah, you can be a man and come at me, or you can just enjoy your lonely joke.
Be a man. That's all I got, my friend. I would say my only other honorable mention, this one, is who's also an Aquaterra, but specifically the new small seconds two-tone with the Glacier Blue Dial.
Our only appearance of precious metals in this list.
Yeah, but that is, to me, that is a Miami, that is a Caribbean, that is a tropical vacation watch.
Yeah, I'm wearing the shirt open with that.
Absolutely. With a gold chain.
Oh, I got one.
With a gold chain.
Baby. It's a rite of passage as an Italian American, is you have to have a gold chain with a cross and the thing that looks like a chili pepper, but it's a bullhorn, and it wards off the evil eye. I'm sure you've seen it. It hangs from people's rearview mirrors, and it's usually red, and it has like a little crown on it, and it looks like people always say, "What the hell is this chili pepper?" It's not a chili pepper; it's a bullhorn. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, you gotta make sure you keep the ojo at bay, bro.
Yeah,
always.
We call it the malocchio, which means the evil eye, the bad eye.
Yeah. Mal is bad.
Right.
In romantic languages. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in Spanish, where I'm derivative from, it's the ojo. It's just the eye, and it's the same type of the thing. Yeah. There you go. We're more alike than you knew.
Cultural podcasting.
Yes, cultural podcasting, bringing everybody together here at Wrist Cheese Radio. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us on episode 28. We sincerely hope you'll tune in next week on episode 29. Bro will lead that one off. But to all of you folks at home, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time, bro.
Adios.